Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for December 10, 2021, the SPACs and IPOs edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal as the SEC Chair Gary Gensler seeks to level the playing fields between SPACs and traditional IPOs. He has asked that, or rather he wants to level the playing field between these traditional, or rather these two types of offerings. And it's because the investing public is not getting information that it needs, nor does it have protections in SPACs as it does with traditional IPOs. He's asked the SEC staff for proposals for the Commission's consideration around how to better align the legal treatment of SPACs and their participants with investor protections provided in IPOs with respect to disclosure, marketing practices, and gatekeeper obligations. He's particularly concerned with SPACs, which announce they bought a company and then are going public, and then investors get to find out the financial details, as opposed to IPOs, which have to release that information prior to going IPO. Next up, from TheHill, first-time contributor to the Daily Compliance blog, there's no quick fix for Haiti, but corruption must be addressed first. Recent headlines show a country in free fall and the maze of challenges. Number one, viewed by TheHill, is corruption. The poison affects all sectors of the country and demoralizes Haiti's people. Haiti alone cannot solve this challenge, but the U.S. is going to play a key role in doing so. Obviously, several major Haitian scandals have become FCPA cases over the years, starting with the Haitian telecom scandal and going forward. Next up, there is pressure mounting to remove Bobby Kotick, the chief executive of Activision Blizzard, from the board of directors of Coca-Cola. Really no surprise given what's come out about him not informing the board of directors of his own company about allegations of sexual assaults by company employees and not releasing that information publicly. So, and given the culture of Activision, you wonder why Coca-Cola would want to have anyone who runs such a toxic organization on its board. Nevertheless, he's still on the board, and a institutional shareholder, the SOC Investment Group, will ask Coca-Cola not to renominate him for the board next year. And if they do renominate him, then they're going to actively oppose him. So, no real surprise there, given what's happened. Finally, Amazon fined $1.3 billion for anti-competitive behavior in Italy. The fines are really piling up in the EU and Europe around anti-competitive behavior by big tech U.S. firms. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.